Welcome to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we're going to be summarizing what we learned in yesterday's 3-hour live stream. Man, that was overtime, huh? Thank you so much to everyone who joined me over there. It was really great to finally catch the news as it happened, because sometimes the news comes out, 2 or 3 in the morning for me. I'm in the Netherlands, and yesterday I just caught it at the perfect time, went live, and you guys all joined me. Thank you so, so much. So today we'll look at a recap of what was said. We'll look at this press release, a couple of updates. Then we'll look at the last known photos that we have of Brian Laundrie, and then we're going to discuss his cause and manner of death just a little bit more, looking at some statistics, analytics, things like that. So trigger warning. Trigger warning for this episode. There's a trigger warning on my whole channel because I'm a true crime channel, but especially for this episode, we are talking about someone unaliving themselves. So please be mindful of that. If that is going to trigger you or it's not for you, then please don't watch this episode. Alrighty, so let's get started. Okay, so let's look at this press release. Remember Stephen Bertolino? I know you guys say Dirty Lino. He was the first to jump the gun, no pun intended, when he just came out with the news. Just like, okay, that's it. Brian Laundrie's cause and manner of death is this and this. Okay, wow. But then about an hour later, the District 12 Medical Examiner's Office released this press release, so let's look at that. It's also on my highlights channel if you want like a quick 5-minute summary. But now we're going to summarize here, and then we're going to expand a little bit. So the press release said, November 23rd, 2021, death of Brian C. Laundrie. The District 12 Medical Examiner's Office has completed our investigation into the death of Brian C. Laundrie. The investigation included the following: scene response by medical examiner personnel, complete examination of the recovered skeletal remains, consultation with a forensic odontologist, including dental comparison for identification, consultation with a forensic anthropologist, including skeletal reconstruction, and confirmation of the identity of the remains by both dental comparison and DNA analysis. So yes, they've now done the DNA analysis and they confirm by teeth and by DNA. These are the remains of Brian Laundrie. The cause of death has been determined to be a gunshot wound of the head. The manner of death has been determined to be suicide. Complete signed reports will be on file at the District 12 Medical Examiner's Office in accordance with Florida statutes and at the request of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. These reports and other information pertaining to the medical examiner investigation of Mr. Laundrie's death may not be made public or released until the law enforcement investigation is complete, which at least means that at some point they will be made public because the investigation is still ongoing, and then it will eventually be complete. Okay, so what I want to say first is the following. The next thing that was released was a statement from Gabby Petito's parents and step-parents. Okay, so this was on behalf of their attorney, Richard Stafford, who said, the Schmidt and Petito family has been aware. I say it like that because it means they were aware before all of us, which is expected, of course. Has been aware of the circumstances surrounding the suicide of the sole suspect in Gabby's murder. Gabby's family will not be making a statement at this time due to the request of the United States Attorney's Office and the Teton County Prosecutor's Office. The family was asked to not make any comments and let the FBI continue their investigation. The family was also asked to wait for the United States Attorney's Office to make a determination on whether any additional individuals will be charged. So remember, he was the sole suspect in Gabby's murder, but when they talk about any additional individuals being charged, it could be relating to the case. There were no other persons of interest named in Gabby's murder, but when they say any additional individuals, It could be, for instance, people who obstructed justice, who aided him in obstructing justice. You know what I mean? When that determination is made, we will have a statement. So they say when that determination is made, not if. You know, when it's made, whether they're going to charge other individuals or not, then they'll have a statement. Of course, feel free to share your thoughts below. Okay, I'm with you here now. I just want to have a sip of water. Okay, got a lot to talk about. So that's what we have so far there. Of course, Brian Enton is keeping us updated on Twitter. Who knows what Bertolino will say today, but that is what we have for now over here. So let me take this image off, move myself across. We're also going to do some map time. We have so much to get through. I'm trying to do this as efficiently as possible, okay? I know your time is very valuable and I don't want to waste any of it. I want you to have all the information, to enjoy it all, and soak it all up in minimal time. So let's go. So let me just show you this slide right here. So I got this from a science site. It's actually called, hold on, sciencedirect.com. They say, in gunshot wound deaths, careful evaluation of all evidence is needed for an accurate determination of manner of death. When considered with other evidence, the bullet trajectory can be an additional parameter to support the manner of death. Of course, leftward, upward, backward was the most frequent observed trajectory in suicides. Of course, rightward, upward, frontward was the most frequent observed trajectory in homicides. So that's a pretty good summary, right? I'm going to go back to that slide in a moment. The reason I'm discussing this is because I know that there's still so many people who really just don't trust law enforcement or the FBI or the information that's been given. So I'm trying to just show some evidence today of how they could have come to this determination that he died by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Well, my first thought is it was probably one bullet wound, because if you're going to unalive yourself, it's not there's actually, it's quite sad to see that when I've researched things, there's like techniques that I saw quite soon after researching some of this, of how you could possibly pull the trigger twice. But in general, majority, like 99, I don't want to say a percentage specifically, but like 99% of cases, it's one bullet wound, of course. So that is something to consider. It would be quite difficult, unless you're very, very skilled, to take someone out with one bullet and then also to make it look like a suicide. You know what I mean? So they say the autopsy features of gunshot wounds can be useful in understanding the manner of death. This research aims to provide concrete data to help to discriminate between homicide and suicide based on specific autopsy findings. A search of the database of the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office from August 2014 to April 2019 identified 3,491 deaths due to gunshot wounds. Deaths due to complication from delayed fatal gunshot wounds, subjects who received hospital care prior to death, and decomposed bodies were identified and excluded. The following data were recorded: manner of death, demographic data, firearm and bullet type, number and location of gunshot wounds. The reason I'm reading you this is because this is what they would have looked at. You know, the medical examiners, the coroners, the forensic anthropologists. They'd be looking at Brian Laundrie's remains and saying, okay, what's the manner of death? Demographic data. What firearm? What bullet type? Number and location of gunshot wounds? Range of fire. But they could tell. Toxicology. And additional injuries. The study primarily focused on the analysis of the bullet trajectory. Of course, leftward, upward, backward was the most frequent observed trajectory in suicides. Of course, rightward, upward, frontward was the most frequent observed in homicides. When the internal trajectory of a bullet is interpreted in the light of all available evidence, it can impeach or corroborate witness statements and highlight consistencies as well as inconsistencies in investigative reports and scene investigations. Okay, now I did quite the deep dive on all this stuff. If you're sensitive to seeing gruesome and graphic images, do not look this up. Don't look up what a skull fracture might look like if someone were to use a gun to unalive themselves, because, whoa, Google does not censor that at all. But it makes sense then that they found what they found when they said partial skeleton, some teeth, intact, that type of stuff. So, okay, now, what I want to show you now, and then we'll get back into some of this. There's so much that I want to show you. Hold on, let me close this quickly. There's one more thing I want to say. They also look at the type of firearm, of course, which we don't know what that is, which just also means, by the way, just because they didn't tell us that, oh my word, there's the gun, and all, that doesn't mean there wasn't the gun. The gun was probably right there. They just don't want to tell us what it is, because they don't need to tell us what it is. Even though the public demands answers, they don't need to give us answers, unfortunately. So the gun was probably found right there, and as we know, when the FBI swarmed into the Laundrie home, they removed all their firearms that were registered to them, but there was one missing. Now, do we know what type of gun that was? No, but there was one missing. So that would always also play into the whole crime scene, that they're like, okay, there is a gun missing. And then they find the remains, let's say, with a gun. Guess what? It's the same gun as the missing gun. You know what I mean? And then they look, obviously, the forensic anthropologists come in, medical examiners, forensic anthropologists, analyze everything they can, reconstruct the skeleton, which means there were fragments and pieces and all sorts of things, to put back together. So they say, one second, in suicides, the number of shots fired is almost always 1, with more cases of intraoral wounds due to their immediate and devastating effects. Okay, are you with me? You're not triggered, right? Are you okay? Okay. This has been shown in different series on suicides with a single shot in more than 90% of cases in all of them, which only happens between 48 and 58% of the time in homicides, right? So they studied all these deaths. It's another one called, it's like a whole citation that someone's done. Now, entry wounds. The mouth is known to be one of the main sites of suicide-related gunshot wounds, generally the head, and more specifically, the forehead, mouth, submental triangle, and fundamentally the right temple. Conversely, in deaths by homicide, the wounds are often multiple, with atypicality in the areas concerned indicating as being characteristic, right? In general, in suicides, the gun is placed in the mouth intentionally to ensure a fatal outcome. In homicides, the shooting usually occurs at a distance greater than the point of contact, due to the victim's evasive reaction, unless the victim is asleep or unconscious. Okay, so they said many studies record gunshots to the mouth depending on the different medical etiologies, although it should be noted that the results are not homogeneous, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read that all. So let me say this. If I read what they say here, they would be able to tell how close, oh, this is quite a topic, huh? How close the barrel of the gun was to Brian Laundrie at the time of his death. And how much damage it did. They might have actually found the bullet, all that kind of stuff. They probably did. Okay, so there is all of that, which means, it would be very unlikely for someone to be able to hold him down, put the gun in his mouth and all that kind of stuff with the trajectory. No, he did that himself. And the most likely one, based on statistics, it doesn't mean that that's how he did it, but statistically, that's the most likely one. In an autopsy, the importance of determining a bullet's trajectory in the mouth has been emphasized. Classic in this regard are these certain papers describing how in suicide, the firearm is pointed upwards towards the hard palate or pharynx, unlike in homicides where the trajectory is horizontal. Okay. Bear with me. Hope you're okay. Okay. Seeing some pictures. Hold on. So, to conclude, several variables have been suggested for differentiating the causes of firearm-related deaths by homicide and suicide, some referring specifically to mouth injuries. So they would look at that. So sometimes like the front teeth are knocked out, shall I say, not there. So if it's only these back teeth that are there, you know what I mean? There's that, there's the trajectory, there's the how close was it. They said in intraoral wounds, the bullet usually follows an antero-posterior and bottom-to-top trajectory, passing through the palate without directly damaging the teeth, lips, and tongue, although they are damaged by other elements of the gunshot wound, so normally in the front. In homicides, by contrast, these results are more variable, with the use of handguns and multiple shots being common. In rare intraoral cases, the bullet may directly injure the lips and teeth, passing through the tongue in its trajectory. Okay, so there's that. Then I want to show you the last known photos that we have. We'll just run over them again. So this was Brian Laundrie's final Instagram post, top right. That was the picture that he posted. The one beneath that is him with his melon, remember? And that was his second last one. And he said his last post on his Instagram said, "This tree doesn't require an Apple Watch. It doesn't stream its favorite shows or have a microwave oven, pay health insurance, or drink grande iced caramel macchiatos." Laundrie said, right, "It is just a tree, but you rarely see geese riding jet skis or wearing designer clothing either." Right, interesting. I think if we all want breathable air and drinkable water, we all need to learn how to live with less. Right, so that's what he said in his final Instagram post. Wow. To me, it's a sign of not such great mental health, because he goes from a tree not requiring an Apple Watch. I mean, it is a tree after all. A tree would never require an Apple Watch, but okay, not requiring Apple Watch, doesn't stream its favorite shows, have a microwave oven. So like, okay. But from there to then saying it's just a tree, but you rarely see geese riding jet skis or wearing designer clothing either. That whole sentence and what he typed there is just like, whoa. Mental health was not great at that point. Jumping from one topic to the next and really having some strange visualizations, but it is what it is. Now, this is obviously the one of the photos from the body cam footage on the 12th of August, which we all know all too well by now. I did watch it again today. Let me know in the comments below if you would want me to work through it all again, now that we have all this new information. That on the right was at Fort DeSoto. It was a possible sighting of Brian Laundrie. I mean, speculatively, it very much could be, because the dates match when he was supposedly there. Now we've got the photos which Cassie, his sister, presented to the news as photos of him from Fort DeSoto when they were there on the 6th. The thing is that this is broad daylight, am I right? But she said, I don't know, what was the 6th of September. It's very bright, so this could have been the next day, but she said they were only there on the Friday in the evening. I don't know. These photos, it just feels like these photos were not taken at that time. Let me know what you think. It's a bit odd. But anyway, yes, these are some of the photos, so we'll take a closer look at them in a moment. Yeah, that's what Cassie said. That's him at Fort DeSoto. He's got his dragon's tooth necklace there. These photos just have a few different filters because I wanted to see the bruising on his arm. He's definitely got bruising on his arm. This is him as well. Okay, wait, I just want to go back to this one. Let's put myself here. Okay. See there's definite bruising on his arm, and I know that you guys have also shown the bruising on the top of his leg here. This is not the greatest photo. This is from a news clip, but I did see the bruising. My question is just, is this really a photo from him at that time? I wish that we could confirm that, because there's not really a way to confirm that, except for the size maybe of the kids, maybe, but it could have been, you know, 6 months before, a year before, I don't know. But if it is, yes, there's a definite bruising on his arms and legs. In fact, in this picture, even his neck looks really weird. I'll show you now. Even it might just be the distortion of the picture, but if you go and, if anyone wants to go and enhance this picture, if you actually have it, and you look at just the funny, I don't know, just how this picture is all distorted here with the colors and all, it just looks a bit odd. So yeah, that is that. And then let me take myself off again. So yeah, this was him apparently out there on the rocks, Fort DeSoto, you see? Broad daylight again. This must have been the next day then, which means that Cassie's not telling the truth of saying they were only there in the evening for s'mores and dinner. Were they though? You know what I mean? Now, this is the livelong trail, the trail that Brian would have followed to get to where his body was found. It was one of his favorite hiking trails. That's how his parents apparently also knew where to find him. This is the scene of his death. And apparently, if you go there now, they still have those little flags. Can you see the little flag in the center there? It's like a little green flag. It's a marker, a FBI marker, allegedly, of where they found remains and the bag. There's two different markers. So one is orange and one is green. I don't know what that means. I'm just simply stating these are the pictures. And then they talk about this like orange paint as well. Again, orange paint. What is the orange paint? Remember the whole orange paint talk because of where Gabby's remains were found? Big speculations, arguments, things about that orange paint. But now here's kind of orange paint again. So it might just be, again, a way to mark how to get in and out of the crime scene. Okay. So I'm back here with you. Then, what have we got going on here? Then I want to show you a few things. Let's see what the time is. 23 minutes. I don't want to make this too long for you. I want to leave that page. I want to show you, based on a lot of people morbidly wonder, how were his remains found? So there's actually a farm of rotting corpses in Tennessee where they study how human bodies decompose, obviously for research, with people's permission. So let's have a look at that quickly. I'm just going to show you this clip here. Then we'll also do some map time. Okay, I hope this is good now. Yeah.
The body under there, and the reason we cover them up with black plastic is that maggots don't like sunlight. So when the body is out here and you have it in the sun and the shade and so forth. The maggots will get on the body, but they will get out under the skin. So they will leave the skin as an umbrella. You will find a body out sometime. It looks fairly good condition, but when you get up to that body and look at it very carefully, you'll find that the skin is just leather. Literally, it is turned to leather.
Okay, so that is, I'm showing you that because he's talking about if a body was just out, exposed in the elements, in nature. And I mean, Florida is hot, humid, lots of bugs, lots of wildlife as well.
And there's nothing there but a skeleton with a leather covering.
So speculatively, it could be like that if he was left without being. I'm sorry. This is. It just feels so weird to talk about this. But anyway, without being eaten by the animals, or obviously insects would get to him. But he's talking here about a body being left out in the woods. It would be a skeleton covered in leather, basically, after being exposed to the sun like that. And that would be after around a month, just from what I've researched. Okay. So there's that. Then I wanted to show you tell you one more thing here, where they said about suicides. In our observed sample, most cases involve the right temple as the site of the entrance gunshot wound, 67%, followed by the mouth, 16%, the forehead, 7%, and the left temple, 6%, submental, 2%, and parietal region, 1%. So there's that. And man, I just want to cover this with all sensitivity. I just want to give you the facts without being too gruesome. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I hope you're doing okay. Okay, now I want to show you this couple from a plant-based diet went and walked the Live Long and Prosper Trail. Which is where Brian would have walked. So let's have a look.
Are we here? Yeah, we're actually going to go over here and then walk up this creek, I think. Go up this creek area. Okay, I'm not sure if this... You can go on this side of the creek if you want. I think we're going to go on the other side of the creek. I'm not sure which is better. I can't remember. It's been like over 4 years since I've been here before.
Okay, I think this is going to... I'm going to speed it up so we can just look at it. Playback speed. Here we go. So they're walking on the Live Long Trail that also sort of parallels the Prosper Trail. And Brian Laundrie was found along the trail. We'll do some map time. Prosper. Live long and prosper. See, Live Long and Prosper trails. They kind of parallel each other. You can see on the picture on the right there, quick. Okay, so this is how you would have walked. And this couple actually went there in February of 2021, so long before any of this happened. It's just something they shared on their YouTube channel that I found. Remember the swing, the footage of this? This is not quite where he was found. He was offset from this particular swing. Okay, but you get the gist of it. So we're going to do some map time. I just want to also show you this. Where Brian parked his Mustang.
All right, so you called the Mustang.
I'm going to do this so we can focus over here. So remember yesterday I was like, where exactly did he park it? But now I know. Okay. So actually, if I put that there, yeah, I'm just going to put this there for now, then we can do map time.
In?
Yeah, I called the Mustang in because it was here for, I noticed it here for 2 days in a row, and then I noticed it had the mow around.
Interesting.
So at the time, I didn't know what was, this story hadn't really broke yet. So I didn't know if...
When did you call it in?
I don't know, it was a Tuesday. I saw it here Monday, and then I saw it here on
Oh,
Tuesday.
so it was here Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right there. See that spot?
Right.
Which means that then he didn't leave on foot. He left with the Mustang on the Monday, the 13th.
There. Right there?
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been mowed for a couple of weeks now.
So it came in here and then just was parked right there?
Backed in.
Backed in?
It was also backed in. So that's interesting. He reversed into this parking space. It's so weird. Why would he do that?
Oh, right here then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right where the tall grass is.
Interesting. Yeah, because another guy I spoke to, he was...
Right, so here, this, you can see there's a patch of much, well, not much, but taller grass. And that is where the car was backed up, right?
Like,
in.
well, it was over there by that car. Interesting.
Right there.
See it? Now you can see the grass. You can see exactly where the car was reverse parked.
Like I said, they mow every Monday night or Monday afternoon. So when I was leaving, the lawn people were getting here.
Yeah.
And when I came back in on Tuesday, I noticed the car was still there, and I saw the grass was tall around it.
Did you call it to where it got where it got that notice of abandonment? Is that why? Did they come after that?
I guess.
You called on Tuesday. What time did you call on Tuesday?
5:30.
5:30 in the evening? Yeah. Okay, because on that day it was like they reported it like abandoned at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
So you saw it here Monday.
I saw it here Monday. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool info to all pair together. So we've got that. I've got like a million tabs open. I'm like, and then I will show you everything. So next I want to show you this, which means it's map time. All right, I'm back with you. Map time. We're back here. There we go. Okay, so if we look at the Mayakahachi Creek Environmental Park on Google Earth, I also have it here on Google Maps, actually. Oh man, this doesn't look pretty now with the white on the side. Hold on. I've got to make it look nice. Okay. So if we look at it like this, zoom in. Here's the entrance. Now I've watched several videos to cross-reference, double-check. But you drive in here like this, and this is where you park the cars. And it means when I watch those videos, you can still correct me if I'm wrong, but I've now watched them in slow-mo and really made sure. But the car was backed in here, you know, on this patch of grass. That's where it was. I always thought when they reported it was like some random patch of grass, just like standing somewhere. But it actually wasn't a random patch of grass. It was the parking lot of the creek. Mayakahachi Creek. So it was backed in. So you come this way like this, walk, 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 and then the car was backed in somewhere around here. So that would make it very easy for Brian to walk like this, and then here, and then over here, over the footbridge, like that, along the power line road, and here's the big slough canal. And he was found, we've got to switch to Google Earth just quickly, because I always look at that little, hold on. Yeah. So Big Slough Canal, he was found there. Go back to the maps, Big Slough Canal. There. It's a big one and a little one. Yes. So here, so he would have walked along that Live Long and Prosper Trail, one or the other. So actually, if he went from the parking lot, reversed the car in here, which is so strange. It didn't like, did these people reverse it in? I mean, everyone just parks like normal. They just friggin' park it. Trying to just figure out why he would reverse the car in. I mean, that feels like it's for a quick getaway or what, or just, I don't know. What, are you trying to make it easier for your parents when they fetch it? Or is that a warning sign for people who know you that, whoa, you parked it differently? I don't know. It's just so strange. But then he would have walked along here, here, this footbridge, along the path, and then hit the trails. Lots of nice walking trails all along here. And gone to one of his favorite spots around here. So you can see the trails, actually, here's a trail. And I mean, he was found, it looks so dry on this picture, huh? He was found around here somewhere. I mean, I've seen people point exactly here or whatever, but here's this big tree. Around here. I will look on Google Earth quickly again. Let's see what happens if we go 2D. Ooh. Okay. I would reckon it's around here. Nice. We're doing a nice little flight here, aren't we? So that is, yeah, I think it was around here. So now we can see it like that, and we know where you last walked, and we saw also those slides of where that was. So let me switch to that again quickly. There we go. Live Long Trail. Okay, so I think we're like flying over it now. Nope, other hand, somewhere around here. Ooh, okay, so there's that. How are we doing so far? Are you doing good? Are you enjoying it? Here's also a picture of the Prospero Trail. So here you can see this Reisterstown Road that loops like that, right? So we know about where that is on the map. Here's the power line road, and there is the trail. This is the Prospero Trail, Big Slough Preserve. Prospero Trail is a 7.7 kilometer moderately trafficked loop trail located near Northport, Florida. that features beautiful wildflowers and is good for all skill levels. The trail is primarily used for hiking, running, and nature trips. So that would be the trail there. So it's a trail that was known to him, that I think that's how his parents really knew where to look, right? Okay, so we've got that. All right. I just have one more thing to show you here, which is this. There's a lady. They say her name is Chronicles of Olivia, a Florida woman. Reportedly spends 5 hours a day searching for more Brian Laundrie remains.
Woman who studied criminal justice in college has spent hours and days in the swamp with her daughter, searching in the area where Brian Laundrie's remains were found.
They say an unidentified woman has been searching for additional bones belonging to Brian Laundrie. I mean, yeah, at this point, I'm sure Doug will be out there too, right? Doug from Northport, Florida. And then, one more thing to wrap this all up. Let's just see. How long was Brian Laundrie, how long was the investigation at Colton Reserve, especially the underwater part, right? So they said on October 20th, 2021, the FBI officials confirmed that human remains found at the Mayakahachi Creek Environmental Park were those of Brian Laundrie. The FBI and Northport Police in Florida started their search in September 18th, a day after Brian's parents went to the police saying that their son was missing. A team of more than 50 police started searching the area of Colton Reserve after his parents said he left home with a backpack and went to that area. See, that was where we got it on foot, because I think initially they said that, but then it's like, ooh, we took the Mustang. Okay. At the time, investigators only had information from Brian's family members. Police said they confirmed Brian's car was found in front of his home, saying Brian's family likely picked it up from the reserve or the preserve, saying he drove himself there. Police also asked for the public's help and the help to verify all information in the search for him. Right. Okay, divers were brought in for the search because of the challenging environment. Many areas of the reserve are waist-deep water, which posed a risk for search crews who had to wade through gator and snake-infested swamps. Goodness. So there's that. The point is just that, remember they went in, I think it was for around 3 days or so. Am I remembering correctly where they actually brought divers in? It wasn't quite there. Am I correct? That wasn't quite there where he was found. It was just offset. So, yes. There's that. And then, I'm just making sure I cover it all. I mean, still, that footage of Roberta and Chris Laundrie and the dry bag, very interesting to see. And actually, sorry, I'm so sorry for all these delays. I've just got so many things that I wanted to show you. Just 1 second. Just checking if Brian Enton has any updates for us. Doesn't seem so. Except that, when Brian Laundrie was reported missing, his parents turned over all their firearms, but one was missing. That was according to the Laundrie family attorney, Stephen Bertolino. All right. So actually, I think I've just covered everything that I wanted to show you. So we wrapped it up, right? We looked at the press release. We looked at what Gabby's parents have said through the attorney, right, in response to the news. And the attorney says they have known about this. They've been aware of this for a little while, supposedly. Don't know how long. Then looked at the last known photos of Brian Laundrie, the trail he would have followed. We did some map time. And we also looked at some of the statistics, which would lead to a conclusive summary of, yes, it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And it is gunshot wound and not several gunshot wounds or riddled with bullets or anything like that. It's one gunshot wound to the head, identified by dental records and DNA analysis. So, Brian Laundrie's remains. Now, the fight for justice for Gabby Petito continues because the criminal investigation is still ongoing. So why is that? Brian Enton actually asked a former FBI agent, I remember her surname now, what is it? Her first name, her surname is Coffindaffer, right? Oh my word, it was just such a good one. And she said, hold on. She said, Brian Enton asked this lady, why is the investigation still open, especially for the fraud charges, if he's dead? And she answered, because they have to wait for an official death certificate. So that will probably be what's next. This one. I'll show you this quickly.
As he went with a three-person.
And here, yes, is the bench for Gabby Petito. There is a bench in her honor in. Is this in Northport, Florida? Hold on.
Petito. The city of Northport, Florida today unveiled a memorial bench in Gabby's honor. It is covered in steel butterflies, a favorite of Gabby's, and a plaque which includes a Bible passage, Matthew 18:20. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Aaron Betzner, the designer who worked with Gabby's family to make the bench happen, says he went with a three-person design instead of the usual two-person because he wanted it to be a place where people can come and sit, reflect on their own life, reflect on Gabby, kind of a little sanctuary space.
Let me know what you think about the design. I think it's a beautiful design. I think that's great that they put the bench there in her honor. And I do hope that people enjoy it, that they go there and sit, reflect on their own life, reflect on Gabby.
It's located near the Northport City Hall. That is where that makeshift memorial to Gabby once stood. We were out there so many days. Supporters from across the country traveled to visit the memorial, bringing teddy bears, flowers, posters, and all sorts of mementos. They also came to Northport to try and find some answers. So many answers that we still need even right now, 2 months after Gabby's remains were found in Wyoming and a month after Brian Laundrie's was found dead. Both cases remain open and active right now, still to this day. I'm joined by retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer. Jennifer,
I thought Julia, but Jennifer Coffindaffer.
You and I were out there together in Northport. We were in the swamp together. We became friends from that experience. We were getting new information every single day, basically, updates either from police or the FBI or other sources. And then basically, boom, it all just stopped. And we've learned really nothing new in quite some time, yet we know the investigations are ongoing. What do you think the holdup is?
Well, initially, Brian, to understand why there is this slow incoming of information, we have to understand that initially, up until they found Brian Laundrie's body, this was a grand jury investigation. 23 people seated, a prosecutor, assistant United States attorney specifically involved, presenting evidence to them through witnesses such as FBI agents, actual witnesses that knew things, coroner, that would come in and give information. So this is a very long and tedious process. There were grand jury subpoenas issued for cell records, for bank records, for CCTV, and more than that, everything that encompassed that investigation. So it takes days for that information to be compiled and then to be returned by an FBI agent who presents that information to the grand jury. All that was going on prior to them finding the remains of Brian Laundrie.
They must be like, oh man, you guys think you're devastated by the news. Imagine all the people that worked so hard to prepare a trial, to prepare all those documents, all that paperwork, the search warrant, the warrant for arrest, really building their case, and then like, man, now they found his remains. So it's not really back to square one, but it's kind of like, oh, okay. Now it would be about closing the case. The murder of Gabby Petito.
But Jennifer, the FBI never officially, up until this point, connected Brian Laundrie to Gabby Petito's death. Of course, they've called him a person of interest, and we've sort of put the pieces together. But don't they have an obligation at some point to come clean with the public and say, look, we think Brian did it, and this is why? Because if they don't do that, aren't we all sort of left to wonder, what really happened?
Absolutely. I think actually it was really semantics when we're talking about a person of interest. Brian Laundrie was definitely the subject of this investigation from all the evidence that was out there publicly, and that was supported, I believe, by evidence that was further collected by the FBI. The FBI will make a determination, not obviously through a grand jury now, because we don't need a true bill returned or a no bill returned by a grand jury. They don't need to find probable cause. This case is not going to trial. But they need to let the public know, or if not, we have, in a sense, somebody who committed this murder out there. So the FBI will release some sort of presser indicating who they believe was responsible for this crime.
It's good to hear it, because at this point we've been wondering, will they release a press statement? Are they going to say anything? Because they don't really have to, but I guess based on the magnitude of the coverage on this case, there is some public pressure to say something. Otherwise, people will wonder, well, is there a killer still running around on the loose out there?
And every week, Jennifer, I make all of my beat calls on this case. I call, the Northport Police Department. Last thing they told me was that they can't release any more information or any of our records requests because it's still technically an open investigation with the FBI. I also call and contact the FBI. The last thing they told me was continue to check our Twitter for updates, which I actually sort of thought was interesting because they didn't just say no comment. They said continue to check our Twitter, which I thought, okay, great. Maybe something's going to come on the Twitter. The other thing that I'm always checking, like obsessively almost every day, is I go on Pacer, which for those of you that don't know, that's the federal court system, and I check the bank fraud case out of Wyoming. Brian Laundrie had that federal bank fraud case out of Wyoming, and that is still listed as active. That has not been closed, and it's still open. So my question is, why is that still active if we presume that Brian Laundrie is dead?
Right. Well, that has to maintain being opened until a death certificate is obtained, the actual proof and acknowledgement that Brian Laundrie is dead. I also do want to give kudos, Brian, to the FBI at this point because they got the case on September 19th. And if I recall correctly, it was about September 23rd that an indictment was issued for the use, unlawful use of an access device. And so from that point, they very quickly charged him with a crime so they could get a full-on manhunt for him initiated.
Okay, so if you want to watch the rest of this, I will link this news clip below in the description box. I'm just going to make myself slightly bigger here. Sorry, bunny. Okay, so my word, those are the updates I have for you today. The summary of a 3-hour live stream in 1 hour, just less, 55 minutes. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe. Become part of the wonderful community that is the Grizzlies. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much to the 2 Grizzlies who went out to Arizona, Buckeye, Arizona, to help out in the Daniel Robinson search. Thank you so much. That was amazing of you. I really appreciate it. And that you even were there saying, I'm a Grizzly. Oh my word, that's so cool. Thank you. And thank you for the emails. I really appreciate that as well. Okay, I will see you in the next video. I look forward to it. And I hope that you're okay, that the episode was okay for you, that everything is going well in your life, and that you're excited for the holiday season coming up. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.